And to this day, if I have to make a phone call of any kind, it's gonna be a while before it happens. Which, I'm there. I'm avoiding the phone. I'm avoiding the phone so hard I'm using my phone to shoot a video about procrastination. That's healthy, right? Hi, I'm Kate, and I am a procrastinator. This video, this is me procrastinating about something completely different and unrelated to this. Does it have, real life ramifications? Most things do, so yeah. Am I gonna say what I'm procrastinating about? No, I would actually like to continue to live this moment in utter denial and talk about procrastination as opposed to doing the thing that I am procrastinating about. Because, which is more fun? Learning or doing? That actually depends on what the thing is, let's be honest. And doing is learning. It's complicated. Anyway, we all procrastinate. We know this. I was looking up different procrastination things online. It felt very aggressive. People don't like procrastinators at all. And I get it. I do. If I need something done and people procrastinate on it, it is extremely frustrating. I live with a procrastinator. Between the two of us, it can be really funny when things happen. Both of us really get that, ooh, let's do something. Once the sun goes down and we should be winding down for bed, it's yes, let's take apart the vacuum, which is still in pieces and I'm not allowed to do because I will probably get bronchitis from doing it. I need a hazmat suit, actually, I think, to figure. There's just so much dust in there. I don't want to get sick again or make whatever I'm still recovering from worse. Anyway, so after feeling rather belittled by the internet, and maybe that's my own projection, I decided to just go bare bones. Let's ask Wikipedia about procrastination. That seems like a friendly place to start. At least it'll be less judgmental feeling. Hopefully. So, Wikipedia says that procrastination is the act of unnecessarily delaying or postponing something despite knowing that there could be negative consequences for doing so. It's a common human experience involving delays in everyday chores or even putting off tasks such as attending an appointment, submitting a job report or academic assignment, or broaching a stressful issue with a partner. It's often perceived as a negative trait due to its hindering effect on one's productivity, associated with depression, low self-esteem, guilt, and feelings of inadequacy. Boy, do I feel seen! But it's always fun to see where you're gonna resonate in the world, isn't it? It goes on to say that it's actually everyone. It's not really one or the other. Both Western and non-Western students will procrastinate, but for different reasons, apparently. It says here that Western students tend to procrastinate in order to avoid doing worse than they've done before or failing to learn as much as they should have. Yeah, that resonates. Whereas students from non-Western cultures tend to procrastinate in order to avoid looking incompetent or demonstrating a lack of ability in front of their peers. Those are very similar and very different, and I actually know lots of people that fall into that second category too. Those that refuse to try because they don't already know and feel like they have to be good at it already right from the beginning. I have definitely dealt with that. When you're, smart and gifted, or people tell you you're smart your whole childhood, you begin to start feeling like you should already know everything. And so every time you go to learn something new and you don't immediately pick it up, it is an ego kick to the gut. It is awful. And it's still something that I struggle with. I think everyone does on some level, and I think that that's a big part of procrastination. Let's see. It goes on your prevalence. Like, there's a study here from University of Vermont, 1984. 46% of subjects reported that they always or nearly always procrastinated writing papers. I have an English degree, an English writing degree, and an anthropology one. I majored in people watching and writing about it. And yes, a lot of my writing was done at the last minute. My 50-page, no, it's like, my 50-page senior thesis, I literally wrote the rough draft, like the second half of the rough draft, the night before it was due. And I actually think that it goes to the cadence of Franz Ferdinand's first album on repeat. Ooh, and Modest Mouse, We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank. Both of those albums just on repeat, just like powering through. They got a good beat, good typing. I knew what I wanted to say, but I never got around to doing it. Plus, senior year was crazy. And I was burned out and didn't know that I was burned out. And that was actually around the time someone was first like, anyone ever ask if you were autistic? And the answer was no, not until that very moment. And boy, has it been a journey since then. They list a few other studies here, and guess what? We still procrastinate, and there's signs of it in history. I mean, the whole don't put off today, and stuff until tomorrow, or we like to say, why do today, which you can put off till tomorrow, but there's a Greek proverb that works in the opposite. So obviously, procrastination is sort of just inherently human. Hi, Editor Kate here. Just to put myself out of my own misery there, it was the Greek poet Hesiod, writing around 800 BC. He cautioned not to put your work off till tomorrow and the day after. That's all. That's what that was. Your brain goes blank and you decide to keep going and just hope you get there. Well, this is me filling in them blanks. The section that really stood out to me with Wikipedia was coping responses. It says negative coping responses of procrastination tend to be avoidant or emotional rather than task-oriented or focused on problem solving. Yeah, we're there. Because like coping responses of procrastinators include the following: avoidance, avoiding the location or situation where the task takes place. Yeah, got that. Denial and trivialization, pretending that procrastinatory behavior is not actually procrastinating, but rather a task which is more important than the avoided one, or the essential task that should be done is not of immediate importance. You know how important laundry suddenly gets sometimes? Like, oh no, I can't do that, I have to do laundry. Laundry is like a set it and forget it situation. I can obviously get other stuff done and usually do, but it's never the thing that I was like, no, I can't do that, gotta do laundry. Distraction, engaging or immersing oneself in other behaviors or actions to prevent awareness of the task. Exhibit A. That's what we're doing right now. Descending counterfactuality. I don't think I've ever seen that word before. Cool. I love new words. It's awesome. We're going to look that up in a minute. I think I understand what it is, but descending counterfactuality, comparing consequences of one's procrastinatory behavior with others' worse situations. I wonder if this is like where, like, on a day that I cannot get myself together, I will literally watch the opening scene to Saving Private Ryan just to remind myself that people have it worse, and I can I can send an email if that guy can look for his arm under fire, you know? This is really eye-opening. Valorization, pointing in satisfaction to what one achieved in the meantime while one should have been doing something else. Even this is beginning to feel a little call out, I'll be perfectly honest, because I'm apparently textbook. Blaming, delusional attributions to external factors such as rationalizing that procrastination is due to external forces beyond one's control. Yeah, that feels normal. We're there. Mocking, using humor to validate one's procrastination. This is a feeble attempt at that thing. I mean, humor is subjective. So, isn't that fun? Those were... It's good to know that I am normal in this sense. I guess. It'd be better if it was a more positive trait, but hey, we all gotta start somewhere. Not that, like, what does normal even mean? You know what I mean. Maybe. Tell me in the comments. They do have a health perspective thing, so let's find out if this is inherently unhealthy physically, because I know mentally it is definitely not great. Mostly. To a certain degree, it's normal to procrastinate, and it can be regarded as a useful way to prioritize between tasks due to a lower tendency of procrastination on truly valued tasks. Yeah, I prefer to do the things I like to do as opposed to the things I hate to do, or the things that scare me, or the things I've allowed to, like, build up to seem a lot more terrifying than they actually are, which is my life. My entire life is just fear response, I think, on some level, and isn't that a healthy way to exist? Let's see, lost my place. Thought train left the station and I forgot to board it. Let's see. However, excessive procrastination can be a problem and impede normal functioning. When this happens, procrastination has been found to result in health problems, stress, anxiety, a sense of guilt, and crisis, as well as a loss of personal productivity and social disapproval for not meeting responsibilities or commitments. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel seen and a little called out, but also this is helping me to stop rationalizing the things I'm procrastinating about, because they're not wrong. I can work myself up into the biggest state of just mania and panic over absolutely nothing, just because the idea of doing the thing freaks me out so hard, and then I'll push so hard not to do it that I'll go out of my way to do something completely different. When I was in the 6th grade, we all had to invent something, and then we were supposed to talk to someone in the field where that would be sold and interview them. And I did like a breakfast. It was like a bed with a conveyor belt that basically dropped your food on your face and woke you up, for all intents and purposes. And my parents were really, really awesome to build that with me with an erector set. And distracted by my Band-Aid, I lost a fight with some tinfoil. I was distracted. Anyway, despite knowing people in the furniture industry that, I was very close with, I was so uncomfortable with the notion of that assignment that I put it off until the very last minute, and instead of actually doing the assignment, which would have ultimately led to me essentially interviewing people that I looked at as like another set of grandparents, I wrote a 6-page letter to my teachers on why I was not going to do that assignment. I think I got a C on that portion of the project. I'll be perfectly honest. And I'm sure I found a lot of better things to do with my time instead of just doing something that would have been. And to this day, if I have to make a phone call of any kind, it's gonna be a while before it happens. Which, I'm there. I'm avoiding the phone. I'm avoiding the phone so hard I'm using my phone to shoot a video about procrastination. That's healthy, right? So, what can we do about procrastination? We can get over it and just do the thing we have to do, which, I mean, yes, literally that is, but it's harder than that. I find that I have to pick and choose my battles because my phone issue that causes procrastination, and also the things I have to make phone calls for are part of it too. And the horror story of everything that I have to do going through my brain is not healthy, and I do need to get my ass in gear and start doing things. But like, there's little things that I can do. I find that the tangible stuff that people procrastinate on, like doing the dishes, I have a no dirty dishes at night if we can avoid it policy, because I've met me before in times where I let my dishes pile up to the point of mold, and I let myself do it a lot. And is not good. I've let laundry pile up, and I know that some of that is just serious depression, and like letting those things pile up and living surrounded by the things that you have to do is going to make your situation so much worse. We all function better in a clean room, realistically. I'm not saying sterile. I know that I can't always function in a sterile environment. I need my own personal clutter, my own, I sort with piles. I have very specific piles for things. And find what works for you. And maybe I'll make the phone call I need to do. I mean, I think I can do it on the app, but then then there's another step after that and another step after that, and I haven't figured out all of my answers yet. Look at my excuses. I am so good at coming up with excuses for something I desperately don't want to do. I hope that you are not having the same type of issue, and that you can just do the thing you need to do without making it a huge situation. Like with work stuff, when there's a definite, obvious, immediate consequence, yeah, no, I can get that done, but why can't I just take the personal responsibility for myself? I don't know. I have a lot of that guilt they were talking about in the coping mechanism section. And I know that I'm better than this. I know. But this is being human, right? This is just a human experience trying to figure out how to make it all work. I just don't know. If you have any tips on how to calm the chaos in your brain and every negative voice, it's like, if you start doing that now, then you'll have to do this, then you have to do that, and then you just end up with like I said, I'm making a video about procrastination so that I don't have to do something that I don't want to do. So, if you have any tips, definitely put them down in the comments, especially if it comes to feeling imprisoned by the notion of having to make a phone call. That is, the more I think about it, the more stressed out I am. So Wikipedia does have a bulleted section, behaviors and practices that reduce procrastination. So awareness of habits and thoughts that lead to procrastinating. Obviously, I've done some thinking on that. Seeking Seeking help for self-defeating problems such as fear, anxiety, difficulty in concentrating, poor time management, and indecisiveness and perfectionism. I mean, I've been in therapy for years at this point, and it is helping. But the problems persist. But I mean, that's life. I hope you guys can hear my parking lot. It's loud today. If you live in an apartment complex, by the way, this has nothing to do with anything. If you live in an apartment complex, be cognizant of your neighbors when you come in just blasting music and then park outside people's apartments just blasting music. It's not cool. We're living here. Be kind, rewind. Fair evaluation of personal goals, strengths, weaknesses, and priorities. So more self-introspection, which is important. It's how we grow and learn. We have to listen to the things and work on the things, though. We can't just acknowledge the problems. We have to try to work with them to find a solution. She says as she continues to make a video, procrastinating further. Structuring and reorganization of daily activities. Realistic goals, positive personal links between tasks and concrete, meaningful goals. I mean, yeah, if it's something that I want or I know will have catastrophic consequences if I don't do it, then yeah, I can do that. Modification of one's environment for that newly gained perspective, elimination and minimization of noise or distraction, investing effort into relevant matters, ceasing daydreaming. Oh yeah, like I get to pick when my brain just goes off into La La Land and decides to who would win in a fight, Mighty Mouse or Tinkerbell. It's Tinkerbell, by the way. I can't think of. I've tried so many different scenarios. I think that she would fight dirty, and he's too much of a gentleman. I think that she would win. Disciplining oneself to set priorities. Well, I can set them, but I can also be like, what is it that I'll downgrade my priorities if I don't want to do them. I guess holding myself to that would be good. Maybe that's the whole disciplining oneself part. It just says to set. I will set them. I just will, hike a mountain mentally before I do the thing. Maybe literally. Who knows? Motivation with enjoyable activities, socializing, and constructive hobbies. Maybe it's the literalist in me, but if like the concept of socializing doesn't necessarily excite you, maybe that's not the best motivator. I mean, I have definitely found ways of getting out of things I genuinely wanted to do because I didn't have the bandwidth to play anymore. Approaching issues in small blocks of time instead of attempting whole problems at once and risking intimidation. To prevent relapse, reinforce preset goals based on needs and allow yourself to be rewarded in a balanced way for accomplished tasks. No, that seems fair. And I've definitely heard that from like motivational work speeches in the past about all of that. It makes sense. Someone goes on, Piers Steele suggests that better time management is a key to overcoming procrastination. And I feel like, yes, but also it's more complicated than that. And it's not even a question of being lazy. I'm honestly dealing with a whole level of ridiculous, irrational fear right now. That is I'm allowing it to imprison me, and that's not great. So I got to fight that. And I hope, again, that you are not in this situation. And if you are, let's chat about it in the comments. We all do it. We all do it to a certain degree. I know that usually if I don't just do the task might not get done. The things I'm currently procrastinating on have to get done, but like deadlines vary, so I'll get there. And you'll get there too. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. If there are immediate consequences, I hope you can figure it out and do the thing you got to do before those consequences hit. And if not, just keep an eye on those deadlines. You got to watch because they'll approach like the end at the end of History of the World Part 1. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And maybe do some of the things on your to-do list that you haven't felt like doing. I know that I am certainly going to try. Once I charge my phone, because I think it's about to die. See? I found another excuse. This is do as I say, not as I do. And don't forget to always tuck and roll.